Hello, I'm Jonas. I will do a review of the ThinkPad X1 Carbon 3rd generation. Now, are not a lot of changes with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, so I'm just going through the ports first. We have an USB 3.0 port here and an Ethernet adapter port over here. This is the Ethernet adapter, which will serve you really well. It's not too large, it's very light. The Ethernet chip is soldered to the motherboard and is a Intel Ethernet connection i218LM. The difference with the Ethernet chip in the X1 Carbon 2nd generation is that this chip in the new X1 Carbon has vPro support, which is very good for workplace environments. Here we have the SIM tray slot, which is a micro SIM slot. It does not accept nano SIMs with a micro SIM adapter because nano SIMs are 0.9 millimeters thinner, and also there are minor differences in the structure. So you might have connectivity issues if you try a nano SIM in the SIM tray. Here is a power jack, 1-link docking port, HDMI 1.4. On this CPU, I expect it will support a 4K resolution at 30 Hz, and the mini display port at version 1.2 will also support 4K at 30 Hz. The always on USB port, which is a USB 3.0 port. How this works I will explain later. And this is a headset audio jack, which is a combo port for microphone and audio playback. The bottom, 2 speakers and ventilation system. Now the bottom and the palm rests are made of magnesium aluminium alloy. The lid and the front bezel are made of glass fiber reinforced plastic and carbon fiber reinforced plastic. Now we also have a fingerprint reader over here, which I will use to log on. Okay. Now, one of the changes made to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon 3rd generation is this over here. These are dedicated track point buttons. Now, if you aren't convinced yet to buy the 3rd generation ThinkPad X1 Carbon because of this addition again, then you might need a little more convincing, and keep on watching. The track point over here, the top is frozen, can't be clicked. Now this consists of 2 buttons, but it's in fact 1 button, but the software decides where you click here, if it's registered as a left or right click. Track point buttons are also very crisp, not soft. They also give optimal tactile feedback. The delete key is back in the top right corner, event key is back in the left hand corner, caps lock is back, and the control key is again shifted slightly to the left. The X1 Carbon, no, it's shifted to the right, I mean. ThinkPad X1 Carbon 2nd generation had it shifted slightly to the left. Then the distance between control key and C was slightly greater and may have caused you some trouble when you were using key combinations. Okay, let's go to the basic hardware first. Now the processor is an i7-5600U with a base clock of 2.6 GHz and a turbo of 3.2 GHz. RAM, 8 GB of RAM at 1600 MHz on a CAS latency of 11. The hard drive is a, okay, moment, please. The hard drive or SSD is actually based on the M2 interface. The M2 interface has two subtypes, one SATA type and one PCIe type. The SATA type is limited to the SATA 3 specifications, which means that you are limited to 6 gigabits per second. In reality, this is about 550 megabytes per second read speeds. And the PCIe M2 interface in this sample over here gives us some read speeds of 1.3 to 1.4 gigabytes per second. This was measured with Crystal Diskmark. Now a network adapter. I've mentioned the Ethernet adapter has vPro support, which is also a gigabit port. Dual band wireless AC 7265 has one change that I noticed. The 2.4 gigahertz bands has support for 80 megahertz channel width. With the old card, the 7260 AC, you had only 40 megahertz channel width. This should allow slightly greater Wi-Fi performance at the expense of shorter distance. Now with Broadwell you should also expect a 15% performance increase. The display is an IPS panel. You have viewing angles of up to 178 degrees, which is normal for an IPS panel. Also colors are accurate and doesn't look as washed out as a DN panel. Also the brightness isn't too low, contrast isn't too low or too high, everything is perfect. Lenovo Solution Center. Lenovo Solution Center is mainly used to maintain your computer. For example, you can do hardware scans or a warranty checkup, check your BIOS version, serial number when you need to contact support, or check your model number. Now here is the hardware scan. Check your security. Well, these are so much things. It also ships with a internet browser. Maxton browser. Well, I haven't used Maxton browser yet because I usually use Chrome or Internet Explorer. Then this is some kind of app store you can also use. But it may not offer so much programs. Then we have also a free trial of Norton Internet Security. And a control panel. And okay, now here are some of the pre-installed apps again. Now we will start Companion first. We have here an overview of links to system health, system updates, warranty, accessories. And here you can find some articles in Lenovo exclusive, and these will teach you how to use your X1 Carbon. Then we have tech news here. These are mostly written by Lenovo insiders, and other articles here. Now we are going to Lenovo settings. Quick panel. These are quick toggles for your settings like keyboard backlights, Wi-Fi, mobile hotspots, Bluetooth, microphone, camera, touchpads, airplane modes, volume, brightness. The Lenovo settings app has also improved. You can control your touchpad here, adjust the pointer speed, adjust the size of the right click button over here, enable or disable gestures. No. Okay, then we have here the track points, adjust track points, pointer speeds, choose what the middle, how the middle button behaves. I have set it as a scrolling button. Wireless networks. You can set up a mobile hotspot using your active Wi-Fi connection. It does not work with your cellular network or Ethernet adapter. You can only share your Wi-Fi connection. Power, choose. Here are some quick settings to extend battery life. And here is the always on USB functionality again. You can here enable or disable always on USB. And you can also choose whether to disable it or enable it on while you are running on battery when the laptop is turned off and sitting in your backpack, for example. Enable airplane modes, camera. Here are some quick settings related to camera. You can here allow the camera to focus on your face. And adjust the contrast, brightness and exposure. Now it is recommended to leave exposure on auto for all different environments. Audio and media. Automatic audio optimization, optimize sound effects for voice communication. Now I wish this setting was more placed to the left here, because now you have to scroll to the right, enable this, scroll back to the left, and then these buttons become available. These become available if you disable these. Then you can choose one of these presets, and as you can see, or maybe not, the color scheme of my display changes. And you can also choose how your microphone behaves. If you want to capture audio in an angle of this, or this, or this, plenty of possibilities. And you can suppress keyboard noise. Dolby, these are the audio profiles. You can choose between movie, music, game, voice. And fingerprint reader. Now, you can see how I have a finger enrolled here, but usually you click on a finger, then start swiping. And now you can see my finger has been accepted. I click finish, and I have 2 fingers enrolled. Then we have one of the best features in the ThinkPads, I find personally, is ThinkPad Touch System Update. If you happen to reinstall Windows from a retail disk, then just install ThinkPad Touch System Update, and then it will start downloading all the drivers to your computer and install them for you, so you don't have to do it yourself. This is still something I don't like about ID pads, because they are missing this feature. Then you have Lenovo Quick Control. You can use Lenovo Quick Control to remotely control your ThinkPad X1 Carbon using your Android smartphone or iPhone or iPad. Lenovo Messenger. Lenovo ShareWith can be used to share files wirelessly to other computers at home, for example, by directly sending it to the other device. It does not require a wireless network, and it's easier to use than, for example, plugging in an external hard drive, placing the files on the hard drive, unplugging the hard drive, moving to that other computer, plugging it in that other computer, and transfer the files again, and then having to do safe removal again. Too much work, if you ask me. Then we have a quick link to warranty information, the Lenovo user guides. Here is the control panel of Lenovo UltraNav, which are the touchpad settings. Now I've noticed the desktop applications are placed on the left, while if you scroll to the right, we see here the Metro applications. I don't know how Lenovo did this, but apparently they reversed the order of the applications, which isn't so bad, but it's a little, it takes some time to get used to, because I was always used to seeing the Metro apps first. And these are about the most important things there are to discuss. Conclusion. Now, what we've seen here today is that the ThinkPad X1 Carbon 3rd generation only made improvements towards the previous generation. This is very good. This also tells us something about that innovation is not always that important. Then we have the return of the dedicated track point buttons, which is a very big deal for a lot of ThinkPad fans. This should convince many people again to buy the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. The keyboard is perfect. I haven't seen anything odd. It works really comfortably. Then there is excellent display quality. In another video I have demonstrated the use of the camera and the microphone. They are also of very, very good quality. So the ThinkPad X1 Carbon is best used for people who do a lot of video conferencing or chatting on Skype. ThinkPad X1 Carbon is really perfect. Another great improvement is performance improvements made by Broadwell. Also, the processor gets only 60 degrees Celsius warm, which is not very high, and it idles around 30-40 degrees Celsius. Now, the battery life was something that was low in a second generation X1 Carbon, or at least it was believed to be low, but the ThinkPad X1 Carbon third generation made an improvement from 9 to 9.5 hours, so a 2.5 hour improvement. While this is not much, you should know that the ThinkPad X1 Carbon is really thin. I mean, how are you expecting to get a big battery inside and all those components? So this is also something you have to keep in mind. If you buy the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, you're buying it for its thickness. You can see it's not thicker as my finger, even thinner maybe. It's hard to measure. And it also weighs 1.28 kilograms, which is super light. You don't feel it at all when it's in your backpack, and the ThinkPad X1 Carbon third generation is a must-have for everyone. I hope you enjoyed the review, and see you guys later.